If you've been in the hobby for a minute, you know the name Radiolink. We all know they make very good radio systems, but did you know they make an ESC? So today we're going to be taking a look at the Radiolink, the CL9030 brushed ESC. It's the good stuff, gotta have it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So as you know, I always keep it honest here. I do want to let you all know that these were provided to me free of charge for a review. They reached out to me, said, hey, we'd like to send you a pair of ESCs to test out. Let us know what you think. And at first I was actually hesitant. I saw the ESCs like, hell yeah, who wants to turn down an ESC? But when I looked at it, these are for brushed vehicles, and I'm like, I don't have anything that's brushed. The only thing I had was my Typhon Groms, and we converted those to brushless. And then, you know, they kept saying boat. That these things have a processor in them that are supposed to be very efficient and very good on heat. And they kept mentioning boat, and I was like, wait a minute. The little Traxxas here is brushed. And there is one thing I don't like with this boat. There is no reverse. So now with this ESC, I can actually have a reverse into the boat. So I've already went ahead and installed it. It's kind of a temporary install. The wiring in here was too short. Like the factory ESC is way back here. The motor's way up here. The battery's way up here in the front. So the ESC it's too short as it is to fit this particular application. Now for a car and all that, I would say that's plenty of wiring, but for a boat, you know, every application is going to be unique and different. Here they put the receiver in the middle. If the receiver was back here, we wouldn't have had a problem, but I still got the factory ESC in here, and you can see it's quite massive to do the job. So it's going to be something else to see if this ESC, that's really only the size of the heatsink on this one, is up to the challenge of powering this boat. But this, testing an ESC in a boat is an absolute brutal challenge for it. This is going to really test if this thing can dissipate the heat. This should be a good test. I'm going to keep it away from the heat of the motor. That way there's no outside influence. But this is definitely a brutal test for an ESC, because once you put this top on here, there's no airflow. You know, it's sealed in there. It's a tough thing. So let's take a look. First thing, man, I like the packaging. I love cases that we can reuse, because, you know, we're in the hobby. We're all the time nuts, bolts, screws, body pins, stuff like that. So you got a neat case to use. And then like this situation, you're going to pull an ESC out. Maybe you want to save it for something else. You got a good case to put it in. Very well packaged. Nice foam. So here's how the ESC comes out. We do have bullet connectors for the motor. An XT60 connector is already on here. The switch has a rubber boot in here. They say this is waterproof and dustproof. So like a lot of ESCs, we have 4 ports here that do your programming. So ports 1 and 2 are basically like your setup. So you're going to do crawler, race mode, which is just going to be like your forward and reverse only. Right now they call it boat mode, but in the programming guide, in the thing, they just call it regular mode, where you have forward, brake, and reverse. So we're not using that. Channel 3 is your battery. So if you put a connector in here like I have in here, it's for LiPo. So you can run nickel metal hydride or LiPo. And then number 4 slips my mind. Okay, so it is the BEC output, so it's either 5.5 or 7.5. So if there's nothing in there, it's 5.5. If there is something in there, it's 7.5. I don't believe Traxxas ever really runs any of their stuff high, so I'm just going to be running it at 5.5 volts. Like I said, this is for brushed motors. It can do LiPo or nickel metal hydride, 2S to 4S. I'm not sure what brushed motor can handle 4S, but I'm not the world authority on brushed motors either. But I am going to be running this on a 2S battery. But I mean, it looks pretty nice. I mean, it feels like a good ESC. Now with these ports out here, and they say it's waterproof, that's kind of interesting. And then you see some capacitors in here, so that's kind of nice that we see the capacitors. But just like I said, it's saying it's waterproof. I guess I'd have to crack this thing open to see what they mean by that. I really don't want to. I guess we can. Well, there's really not much to see. You know, we got our capacitors right here, and then we got the pins. It looks like there's probably like some type of coating over the circuit board. There's definitely a shiny gleam to it, and this doesn't come out. So, good possibility it's all just epoxied in there, which would make that waterproof. So, we just have to go by what they say. And if I get water in here and the boat dies and I have to go swimming, we know it wasn't waterproof. But let's check over some specs real quick. I know it's what everybody wants here. So excuse me, I'm going to cheat and just pull this up. So it is built-in switchable BEC. It's a 90 amp at 18 volt constant output with a BEC. Like we mentioned, 5.5 to 7.5. 2 and 4S capable, maintains stable voltage output even in case of instantaneous high current, can easily drive all kinds of standard and high voltage servos and other external electrical equipment, high performance 32-bit, high performance chip, high frequency mode, 20 years of circuit design, makes throttle sensitivity up to 2000, I'm not sure what that means. Linear smooth control for forward and reverse, perfect for RC crawlers, drifting cars, and monster trucks. Waterproof and dust rejected, and multiple protections. Abnormal voltage input, low voltage cutoff protection for battery, overheating protection, over voltage protection. So we got a whole, so four modes. Like I said, this is boat mode, training mode, race mode, crawler mode. It can be set up through the jumpers like I showed you. We have these little oh, what did I do with it? Right here. And if you've been around the hobby for a minute, you're familiar with these like little jumpers. They just plug in here. But on their manual here, it says normal mode, brake mode, racing mode, and climbing mode. So all modes, pulling inward goes forward. Neutral position, no operation except for climbing mode. That's going to be your brake. Now regular mode, it's reverse. Brake mode, it's brake and reverse. So I think what it is you hit brake, it stops, and then you have to hit reverse twice. Race mode, of course, you got forward and brake only, no reverse. So that's the mode, and then it's really easy to calibrate the ESC. You just squeeze the trigger full, turn on the ESC, you'll hear a beep, put it to reverse, you hear another beep, put it neutral, and you are calibrated. So I'll just show you what else comes in the box. You get a bag with 4 jumpers, and you get the manual in there, and that's what you get. Really, I really do like the way this thing is packaged. It's really nice. It kind of, if the company's going to take the time to put their product in a high quality package, I should say at least something about the quality of the product that's inside, if they care that much to protect it and give you a good case to put everything in. So now there's only one thing left to do. Take the boat out to the water. Let's run it, see if it overheats and how well it performs. I'm really interested to try out reverse, because it's something I've been missing on this boat, and that's one thing I'm like really excited to have now, is a reverse. You know, it's not like you're going to go take the boat 5 miles an hour or 10 miles an hour down the thing, but sometimes you just get too forward into something. Just a little reverse is just enough to get you out of a situation. So I'll see you at the boat ramp. Alright, I really don't know how long the battery's going to last in here. This is kind of a bit smaller than what would normally because I'm limited on 2S lipos. So we're just gonna run this thing full speed, wide open for about 5 minutes, I think, if it lasts that long. And then we're gonna take it out, do a temperature test. But I'll tell you what, man, watch this. Reverse. That's cool. I want to try to keep this thing close just in case if I gotta go swimming. Maybe the guy over there in the bass boat would be nice and whoa, grab it for me. But I mean, so far it just feels like the same boat. I mean, it's moving pretty good. I don't feel like it's lacking any kind of power. Tell you what, man, I like the boats. They're fun. A little nerve-wracking. It's kind of like flying. If something goes wrong, it just, yeah, it's gonna fall out of the sky. If something goes wrong here, you just either ride it off or you go swimming. And if you guys didn't know, I am in Florida, and we kind of have a rule in Florida. If it's wet, it probably got a gator in it. Unless it's salt water, it's starting to slow down. Yeah, it's not up on plane. I think that battery's about half. It's kind of a small battery. But I do love that reverse. That is, it's so nice too, because it moves really, really smooth. I mean, hear the boat even at slow speed. Moving around really, really nice. Very smooth through the throttle. Very, very nice. I think it's, that is very nice. All right. I like it, man. I think the boat's running really, really nice. Other than I think I need to do some tuning. Yeah, this prop's just kind of, I think we need to dip it down a little bit, but I really wasn't going to run this thing anymore because I got a way nicer one. 136, man, that ain't bad at all. 138, let's check out the motor. 113 on the cooling pipe. 190 on the motor. Yep, 199 right there. So we got 167, 198. So 130 on the ESC. That ain't bad at all, because this thing is just wrapped up. Zero airflow. So, honest thoughts on the new ESC. I like it, man. I think it did tremendous. the ESC temp with no fan, no anything, is cooler than the motor, and the motor actually has that water cooling. Very, very smooth. Now, I drove this with the Traxxas ESC, and it was a bit, I think, jerky. I don't know. It never really just had a very smooth like takeoff like what this has. And then adding reverse. So if it can survive, now, like I said, this is Florida. Today it's about 90 degrees. So if it can survive 90-degree weather, sealed up inside a boat, I think that's a good deal. I think that's about as hard as we can test it. So I think that's the ultimate torture test. Put it here in the boat, wrap it up, no airflow, and it did great. Except, was it the longest run time? No, unfortunately, we're dealing with the boat. I forget, it's just a smaller battery. The one for this boat has a Traxxas connector and it's nickel metal hydride, and it has to go between the motor. I'm not sure if you all can see that, but it has to slide in between the motor and underneath here. So it's relatively small pack, so we didn't have a big run time. Let me see what this. Oh, it's a 5200 milliamp. I'm not 100% sure how accurate that is, but the Radiolink ESC, I think it deserves the seal of approval. I have another ESC, but I don't know what to put it in. But like I said, I think this is the ultimate torture test. I mean, we got that motor pretty hot. So we were working, so we got some temps out of that. And the ESC is way cooler, so. And like I said, the motor has the water cooling. It's still at 200 degrees. The ESC is only 130. That's a good job. I like how smooth it is. The size factor, it's way smaller than the ones in here, so I'm gonna have to do some wiring. I'm gonna get this ESC wired up in the back and run it properly. It's just gonna take some soldering and stuff. It's nothing you want to crimp connect, but I did want to get this video out. But it did the job, man. So good job, Radiolink. Very happy with that. That did phenomenal. So if you're looking for a nice little compact size ESC for your brushed systems, I mean, look at it. It's very, very small. It's like compared to my watch screen there. Did fantastic. All right, everyone. Hope you appreciate the honest look and review of the Radiolink. There'll be a link down below where you can purchase yours from. Said, I always keep it honest. Even if I'm provided the stuff, I'm going to give you an honest review. And I know that's why you guys tune in to me for an unbiased, honest opinion when I test stuff. Everyone, appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.